everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sparta, as you may or may not know, and today we're going to be watching some creepy animation stories. All of the videos will be in the links in the description, so go check them out at the end of this video. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you, so just enjoy the video. And yes, I'm watching this at night.
A few days ago, my dad lost his shoes at a restaurant.
Oh, that sucks. Trust me.
When he checked the CCTV, he saw that an old man went outside wearing his shoes. At first, my dad decided to just think that he made a donation.
That's just creepy.
But the next day, a package arrived at his company office.
Okay.
As he opened the box, he saw a new pair of the exact same shoes that he had lost the day before. And the sender was unknown. Let's think about it. My dad lost his shoes just yesterday, but when he checked the delivery date, it was dated a few days ago. Dad was just satisfied with the new pair of shoes that he received, but my mom and I are still feeling uncomfortable and weird about it. I mean, who would send shoes to you for free and for no purpose at all? What a weird situation.
Yeah, I get that's creepy. Alright,
This happened a few days ago.
Alright.
I found a cell phone in the corner of my bed while cleaning my room. Of course, it was not mine, and it didn't belong to any of my friends either. So I turned on the cell phone to check what was in it, and I was left speechless. Well, I've never seen that cell phone while living in this house for several years.
What?
I found it just today.
Tell me.
But when I checked the phone's recent call history, one was made just yesterday. If someone knows the answer to this, please let me know. What should I do with this cell phone now?
Ooh, that gave me shivers right up my spine.
It seems like growing a terrarium is in fashion now, but I threw out my terrarium a few days ago. One day, I bought a terrarium at a store while heading home. I put it next to my bed and fell asleep. The next morning, I saw a girl lying next to me on my bed. And the scariest part was that her neck was halfway turned, but as soon as I jumped up, screaming, she was already gone. At first, I thought it was just a nightmare or some kind of sleep paralysis.
So creepy. I feel so bad for you.
A few days later, I had a dream this time, and I was inside of the terrarium. I was on something like a big hill, and dolls made of bones were digging through the soil of the garden.
Ew.
As soon as I stepped closer, I could see the bones on the ground. Then I woke up from my dream in fright. Because I felt uncomfortable thinking about the woman I saw a few days ago, I went into the bathroom with a terrarium.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get rid of it.
I started taking all the plants and moss out of the glass. You know, moss is usually very easy to peel off. However, this one didn't come off easily. It was as if the roots of the plant grew so deep that it felt like they were stuck to the soil. I was about to turn on the water and wash the roots, and at that moment, little white pieces rattled and were drained down the sink. What was that? Suddenly, I was struck with fear. I couldn't even think of washing it anymore. Eventually, I had to throw the plants outside.
Yeah, I do the
What
same.
were those white pieces I saw? What if they were real bone fragments? It happened when I was in middle school.
The picture.
One day, 2 of my classmates committed suicide together on the roof of an apartment complex. Everyone in the class wondered why they did that and felt sorry for them.
I feel sorry too.
And a few days later, we received a group photo from our school trip. The moment we looked closely, we found something unbelievable. Some of the students were screaming, and some were crying. It was insane. When I looked at it, it was really, really weird. The 2 friends who committed suicide together were standing next to each other, and their eyes were looking upwards the same exact way. It was strange enough to make the viewer feel unpleasant.
Shivers.
Well, eventually our teacher ended up burning the picture.
Yeah, I would have done the
What
same.
was up with that picture? I have no clue at all.
Look at that smile at the end, just made me go. Alright, let's go on to the next. And now I'm watching it with my light on because I'm a wuss. Sorry about that. The nightmare.
This happened to me while I was on my way home one night. I was living in an apartment at the time. When I arrived on the first floor of my building, there was a piece of paper hanging on the wall that said that the elevator was out of service.
That's creepy.
No, not again, I said to myself.
What do you mean again?
I lived on a pretty high floor, so without any other choice, I had to walk up the stairs. I was walking up the stairs out of sheer desperation, and all of a sudden, I heard something. Then I began to feel uneasy. I knew that crimes often occurred around my neighborhood, especially targeting people who were alone. When I listened closely, I could hear a pair of men's shoes and a pair of women's high heels walking at the same time. I assumed that it was a couple. You guys are having a hard time like me. I'm struggling to walk up the stairs, especially this late at night. I thought to myself. I sighed with relief and turned my head around. However, I will never forget what I saw at that moment. There was a man who was crawling with a pair of men's shoes on his feet and a pair of high heels on his hands. He was crawling towards me.
That's really creepy. The mystery of the old man's
house. This happened a few years ago in the neighborhood I grew up in. When I was around 6 years old, there was an incident where an old man who lived right in front of my house was murdered by a robber. Not only did the robber steal all his money, but he also stabbed him brutally with a knife and then ran away. According to the police, the crime scene was as horrible as it sounds, and unfortunately, to this day, the robber still hasn't been caught. When they moved the old man's dead body and passed by my house, my mom covered my eyes with her hands so that I wouldn't see it. Nevertheless, I could see my neighbor's face through the gap between my mom's fingers. After that, even after a few months had passed, the old man's house wasn't sold. It was because there were a few strange rumors spreading around the neighborhood about his house. Some said that people would always hear the old man's coughing and sobbing coming from inside whenever it rained. 10 years later, all of the people who moved into his house had to leave, and now his house is being used as a warehouse.
Well, it is what it is, honestly.
When I was in high school, I was crazy about a boy band and used to stay up late at night watching their videos.
I feel you there.
Because of this, I used to fall asleep at around 3 or 4 a.m.
Okay.
The town I lived in was sort of a new city under construction, so it was really quiet and there was no one outside during that time. One night, it was around 3 a.m., I suddenly heard a woman singing outside. It was an old song, and the strange thing was that the woman was singing just one part of the song over and over again. She didn't move on to the next section. She would just start singing, pause for a minute, and then continued singing again. Out of curiosity, I opened the window and was about to sing the next verse of the song to surprise her. However, before that, I sent a text message to my friend. Hey, someone is singing outside and keeps repeating the same part. LOL, should I sing along with her?
No.
Not long after, my friend responded, and then I had to shut the window quietly because I was terrified. The text said, "Don't do that. That's a ghost. When ghosts find someone to harm, they first sing and then wait for the person to sing along."
Oh my. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. This one was a little creepy. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. You don't have to. Once again, no one is forcing you to do it. So, I just hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.